Hello there. My name's Mary, and I'm the Director of Youth Services at the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. And we're so sorry that we're not able to have you come and join us for Storytime in person, but we're delighted that we are able to have Storytime with you this way. But let's begin, like we always begin, with our hello song. Hello, hello, to you and you and you. Hello, hello, to you and you and you. A big hello, a small hello, a hi, hello, 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 to you and you and you. And again, hello. It's so nice to be here. And what do we always do after our song? We do the word of the week. The word of the week this week is community. It's a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. And you live in the community of the city of Portland, or your neighborhood is a community, or your school is a community. You know, your city and your neighborhood, it's all those people who are living together in the same place. So that's a community. But your school is also a community because everyone is coming together for the same reason, so that you can learn. So community, that's a big, important word. And there are all kinds of people in the community. And that's what makes a community so special. That there's so many different people and so many people doing so many different things in order to keep the community going. So, community, the word of the week. All right, today we have some rhymes and songs and a story. So why don't we begin with, now I'm going to pick up a shoe because of the way we're filming, you can't see my feet. So I just want to be able to point this out. All you have to do is say what I say and then do the thing I do. So say go and touch your toe. Say neat. Now touch your feet. Say real. Now touch your heel. Say laugh. Now touch your calf. Say be. Now touch your knee. Say hi. Now touch your thigh. Say waist. Say haste. Now touch your waist. Say yummy and touch your tummy. Say best. Now touch your chest. Say colder. Now touch your shoulder. Say farm and touch your arm. Say twist and touch your wrist. Say sand. Now touch your hand. Say crumb. Now touch your thumb. Say check. Now touch your neck. Say pin. Now touch your chin. Say rip. Now touch your lip. Say south. Now touch your mouth. Say rose. Now touch your nose. Say weak. Now touch your cheek. Say try. Now touch your eye. Say clear. Now touch your ear. Say bear. Now touch your hair. Say bread. Now touch your head. Look at that. We made our way all the way from the tips of our toes to the top of our head. All right, now it's time for a story. This is the story of Sodie Biscuits. Once upon a time, there was a grandfather, a grandmother, a little girl, a little boy, and their pet squirrel living in a little cabin at the top of a mountain. Well, one day everybody was doing their own thing when all of a sudden the grandmother said, you know what? I think we need some Sodie biscuits. I'm going to bake some up. So she went to get the ingredients and she said, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't do it. I don't have any Sodie Celerators. Well, everyone looked so disappointed. The grandfather said, you know what? I'll walk down to the store, get the Sodie Celerators, bring it back, and you can make the biscuits. So he got his cane, he put on his cap, and he started to shuffle his way down the road. And he was thinking about how much he loved his wife's Sodie biscuits hot out of the oven. Well, she made the best Sodie biscuits around. So he was dreaming about them with butter all melted through. So he started to sing his way down the road. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. He got to the store. He marched right up to the counter. He said to the storekeeper, I need some Sodie Celerators. So the storekeeper reached back, got Sodie Celerators, put it right there on the counter. The grandfather paid the storekeeper, picked up the Sodie Celerators, got his cane back in his hand, and he started to walk back up the road. Well, he was just about to pass a great big oak tree and get to the bridge when out jumped a bear. He said, I'm going to eat you, you and your Sodie Celerators. And he did. Well, back home, they waited and waited, and finally, little girl said, I'm going to run down the hill and see what's keeping Granddad. So she ran out the door before anyone could say anything. She started to run down the road, and she was thinking about those biscuits hot out of the oven because she liked hers covered with fresh whipped cream. So the whole way down the road, she was singing, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. She got to the store. She marched right up to the counter. She said, excuse me, have you seen my grandfather, and did he get the Sodie Celerators? Storekeeper said, yep, been here and gone. Well, she thought that was odd. I mean, she'd come right down that road, and she can't imagine that her grandfather would have taken any other path. So she thanked the storekeeper. She walked out of the store. She started up the road. She was just about to pass that great big oak tree when out jumped that bear. He said, I'm going to eat you up. And he did. Well, meanwhile, they were waiting at home. And that little boy, he just couldn't wait another minute. He just ran out of the little cabin without saying a word, and he started running as fast as he could down that road because he loved those Sodie biscuits. He liked his hot out of the oven covered with fresh strawberry jam. He was thinking how good they were going to be, and he was singing, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. And he ran right into the corner store. And he said, storekeeper, could you tell me, have you seen my grandfather and my sister? And did he get the Sodie Celerators? Storekeeper said, yep, been here and gone. Well, he thought that was mighty odd, but he thanked the storekeeper and he walked out of the store and he looked up the path and he thought, I can't imagine they would have taken another route. So he started back up the path and he was just about to pass that great big oak tree when out jumped that bear. He said, I'm going to eat you up. And he did. Well, back at home, there's the grandmother waiting for her Sodie Celerators. She can't make her biscuits without the Sodie Celerators. And finally she says, you know, if you want to get something done right, you gotta do it yourself. So she put on her hat and she got her pocketbook and she started to march down the road. Well, she was thinking about her biscuits, which she knew were the best ones in the whole county. And she was thinking how she liked hers hot out of the oven with melted butter and fresh strawberry jam and fresh whipped cream. Oh, she was thinking how good they were going to be, and so she sang as she walked down the road. Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. And she went right into that corner store. She went up to the storekeeper and she said, excuse me, have you seen my husband and little girl and little boy? And did he get the Sodie Celerators? Storekeeper said, yep, been here and gone. Well, she thought that was really odd. I mean, the children might be off playing, but where could her husband be? Well, she thanked that storekeeper. She walked out the store and she started back up the road. And she was just about to pass that great big oak tree when who should jump out but the bear. Said, I'm going to eat you up. And he did. Well, meanwhile, back at the cabin, there was that squirrel. And that squirrel, he had a little place right over the fireplace. There was a nice little shelf. And he would go back and forth on that shelf, just back and forth. Well, this particular day, he was going back and forth, and every once in a while, he'd stop and go. And then he'd go back and forth a few times, and then he'd stop and he'd go. And then he did it one more time. And finally, he just stopped and he said, they were talking about Sodie Biscuits. They were talking about bacon Sodie Biscuits. And I don't smell anything cooking. Nope, not a thing cooking. Well, come to think of it, the grandfather left the house. Then the little girl left the house. Then the little boy left the house. Then the grandmother left the house. And not one of them has come back. Well, I better go check on this. So he jumped right off his shelf, onto the table, onto the chair, onto the floor, ran out the door, right down the road. And he was thinking about the Sodie Biscuits that he couldn't wait to have a piece of. So he sang, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators, Sodie, Sodie, Sodie Celerators. He ran right into that store, and he looked around and didn't see anyone. So he got right up on his little hind feet, made himself as tall as he could, and he looked around. Still didn't see anyone. So he went. The storekeeper leaned over the counter and said, can I help you? Yes, said Squirrel. Could you tell me, have you seen the grandfather, grandmother, little girl, little boy? And did he get the Sodie Celerators? Yep, said storekeeper, been here and gone. He thought that was mighty funny. He come all the way down the road. He didn't go off that road. He should have seen anybody. He didn't see a soul, but he thanked the storekeeper. He ran out of the store. He was just running up the road, just passing that great big oak tree, when out jumped that bear. He said, I'm going to eat you. And that little squirrel, he stood his ground. He looked right at that bear and he said, you just see if you can. So the bear ran at him. Squirrel ran up the tree. Bear followed him up the tree. Squirrel went out in a branch. Bear followed him out in the branch. So that squirrel took a deep breath and jumped to the next tree. And that bear looked at him and he said, well, if you can do that with your little legs, I can do that with my big ones. So that bear took a deep breath and he jumped. Only he missed and he fell flat on his stomach and went, oof. And when he did, out came the grandfather, the grandmother, the little girl, the little boy, and that grandfather was still carrying his Sodie Celerators. So they went right back up the road, right back to the cabin. And that grandmother mixed up some Sodie Biscuits right away. She put them right into the oven. First ones out of the oven, she took them out. She took off a little piece. She blew on it so it wouldn't be too hot. And she passed it right up to that squirrel. He ate it before you could blink. So she passed him another piece. He ate that one just as fast. So she passed him yet another piece. And he ate that one just as fast. And by the time he was done, that squirrel had eaten 71 biscuits himself. And that's the story of Sodie Celerators. But now it's time for a song. So let's do The Wheels on the Bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town. The lights on the bus go blink, 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 blink. The lights on the bus go blink, 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 all through the town. The door on the bus goes open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The door on the bus goes open and shut, all through the town. The driver on the bus says, move on back, move on back, move on back. The driver on the bus says, move on back, all through the town. The people on the bus go up and down, up and down, up and down. The people on the bus go up and down, all through the town. The baby on the bus goes wah, 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 wah. The baby on the bus goes wah, 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 all through the town. The parents on the bus go shh, 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 shh. The parents on the bus go shh, 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 all through the town. Well, thank you so much for joining us for music and storytelling today. Again, my name's Mary. I'm the Director of Youth Services at the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine. And we're going to end, as we always do, with our goodbye song. Goodbye, goodbye to you and you and you. Goodbye, goodbye to you and you and you. A big goodbye. Oh, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye to you and you and you. And again, thank you for joining us And until we're here again with our next music and storytelling, bye-bye.